Hi, my name is Carrie Allen, Caroline Allen. I'm the founder of Art of Storytelling, and today we're going to stream on the overall process of writing a book. I have been a book coach for 20 years, and in that time I've helped people all over the world write memoir, novels, self-help books, even film scripts, and in that time I have learned quite a few lessons, and I want to share them here. In broad strokes, the overview of writing the rough draft of the book and then writing the revisions of a book and how long it should take and what things you'll possibly see coming up with doing that. So first, a little bit about me. I began my career as an international journalist in newsrooms in Tokyo and London. I worked for the London Financial Times for a while. I worked for the London's Independent newspaper for a while. I've also gotten 2 novels published, and both have won national awards. So just trying to give you an idea of my credentials in discussing all of this. And in the 20 years that I've been running the book coaching business, I have helped probably over 2,000 people in the process of writing books. So what you're going to hear here and in future streams is hard-won wisdom. I guess you could put it that way. So people come to my company, Art of Storytelling. Most of them are in the age range of the late 30s to their 60s, and they've always wanted to write a book. And so perhaps you'll hear yourself in this description. You don't want to go back to school to learn how. You want somebody who can work with you and be flexible, keep you accountable. You also have kids, you work full time, so this is why you need somebody there to keep you accountable. Those are the sort of people that I work with. Many of them have gotten their books finished and published, so we know the process works. But I will say this, few new writers understand the stages involved in writing a book. So I'm creating an outline of the stages on my blog site, artofstorytelling.wordpress. The link is in the information that comes with this YouTube stream. And if you go to the blog and you subscribe to the blog and you subscribe to this YouTube channel, you will keep receiving posts on the writing and publication process. I'm going to do overviews, and then I'm going to drill down in future audio streams. So be sure to subscribe to get all the information. So at Art of Storytelling, we assist people wherever they're at in the writing process, from rough draft to publication. So if you do need help, we offer a free initial consultation. So the email is info.artofstorytelling@gmail.com, and go to the website, which I said is listed in the YouTube description of this audio. Okay, so first let's talk about the rough draft. You're going to sit down, you're going to write the first draft very rough. And when I say rough, I mean rough. Perfectionism kills this process. You do not want to spend days and hours rewriting the same sentence. You're going to write a rough draft. And people come to me and invariably state they are going to finish their book in 3 months. On average, a rough draft takes 1 to 2 years. When they tell me they're going to finish it in 3 months, I used to try to talk people out of it. Now I just let them discover this on their own. After 3 months, almost everyone realizes it's going to take a lot longer than that. Writing a book is a very big deal. It's one of the biggest things you could do in your life. So take it seriously. Give it the time it needs. Take it on as the project that it is. It's a big deal to write a book. So in my 20 years of experience, on average, a person needs 3 hours, 3 times a week to get a book done in a timely manner. All right, so 3 different 3-hour sessions a week, 9 hours a week. And those 3 sessions should try to fall on the same days and at the same times. It sets up a sort of Pavlovian discipline that helps you write the book. It creates a lot of wind beneath your wings. So let's say you do Wednesday mornings, Thursday evenings, Sunday mornings. Try to keep those 3 intact throughout the writing process, and you will see greater speed and fluidity and flow in the writing process. So, what are the skill sets you need for the rough draft? What you'll need to be learning is plot, characterization, setting, and theme. Each one of these, there are many how to write books on them. What you'll find is that you're really good at some people are really good at plot, some people are really good at characterization. You will find there are areas you are not good at. And those areas that you are not good at during the rough draft phase, you need to be getting good at. And that means you need to be reading how to write books, and you need to be going to workshops. You could work with us at Art of Storytelling, but it is important, plot, characterization, setting, and theme, that you evolve your skill sets in that area while you're doing the rough draft. I like to finish with what is the biggest lesson. I'm just finishing the rough draft portion of this audio with what is the biggest lesson you will learn writing the rough draft. The lesson for nonfiction writers through this process of the rough draft is learning to organize their thoughts and let go of perfectionism. The idea is just to get the ideas out of your head and onto the paper. The greatest lesson for fiction writers is we learn how to access and get into our creative zone, how to channel the muse, so to speak, and to write from the soul. That's very important to get in that phase. We have to get out of our heads and into our souls and into our creative process. Most new writers have to also unlearn what they learned from school about writing. So what happens is this: from the moment we started to write to the moment we graduated from school in our 20s and even in our 30s sometimes, if we go for master's degrees, we're taught a certain way of writing. To write a good book, you have to unlearn that. You have to learn a different process. And I notice it with everyone I work with. There's a certain perfectionism or way of doing it built into the very system in which we live, and it has to be unlearned. We want you to write your book in your true, authentic, raw, creative voice, and not in some standardized school-taught essay-like voice. It's very important for this process. All right, let's talk about revision now. All right. The big news is more than one revision will be required. The bigger news is it's sometimes 3 to 5 revisions. So if any of you have a finished manuscript in rough draft form sitting on your computer hard drive and you can't figure out why you can't finish it, it's because you think it should be finished, when in fact every professional writer knows you have to do more than one revision on it. And you have to do it. You can't really send the first revision out to an editor. You can send later revisions out, but you can't on the first, because this is your story. So dust off that manuscript, get it out, and know that it takes about a year, to do the first revision. If you're a new writer, you work full-time, you have kids, it takes about a year. It's important at this stage to understand this is a marathon you are running and not a sprint, okay? So you cannot use up all your energies on the rough draft, and you can't even use all your energies on the first revision. You've got to really pace yourself through this process and give yourself credit and know it takes a while to do this work. All right? So on the first revision, let's talk about that first. We're deepening the rough draft. And that usually means simply getting the story straight from start to finish. So what happens with the rough draft, there are some major twists and turns that just don't work, and you're going to have to extract those and create bridges between chapters. You might take out whole chapters, but basically you're going in on the first revision and getting the thing to hold together as a storyline. You will find that perhaps the thrust and theme of the book shifts as you do the first revision. Let that be okay. It is absolutely important that all the epiphanies that you have on your first revision, that you honor them. They're important. Do not fight these realizations. Go with them, because this first revision is a very deep transformation for you and for the book. And if you try to control it and make it what you think it should be, and the book itself would like to be something else, you will find you're stuck. You will find the manuscript sits for years and you didn't work on it. It's simply because you will not listen to the book. It wants to be what it wants to be. The book has its own mind. Really, it does. It's an entity unto itself, and it must be honored as separate from you and your control. Okay, now we go to revision 2. So you've got the first revision done. It's not as clunky. The storyline falls into place. If it's a nonfiction book, you got the basic idea down. Everything's in order. Second revision is about starting at the beginning and going through and finding places where it's still rough, where the water is still choppy. You'll always find that on first revision, it takes so much to get the storyline straight that you really do need a second revision to go in and create the flow on yet a deeper level. You start at the beginning, you go through the book chapter by chapter, and you make sure that the clunky bits are smoothed out. And this can take several months to give you a duration. Finally, you do a final polishing on a final revision. Again, you sit down, you start at the beginning of the book. This time you make sure the language is clean, you make sure it's clear, you make sure the language sings. You make sure there's a consistency in the character's development. You make sure there's a consistency in the information if it's a nonfiction book from start to finish. And with the final polishing, you also, you do the grammar, you do the proofreading, you just get it all cleaned up on a deep level. At this stage, some writers do tend to send the manuscript out to a professional editor. In today's publishing market, ever since ebooks, nobody really knows what's going on in the publishing market. Well, there are a rare few. So it's so tight to get in now that you really need to have the tightest possible book to present to a literary agent or publisher. So you may need to hire someone with greater skill sets to look over the manuscript and take it to the next level. This takes about 1 month. What you're going to learn in this process is the skill sets that you're going to learn and evolve are grammar, punctuation. You're going to learn deepening of the plot, deepening of the characters, integrating setting details, deepening of the themes. You're going to learn how to polish the language. You're going to learn the use of metaphors. This is a beautiful process, the final revision, as it takes the beautiful thing you've created and polishes it and makes it shine. I love the revision process. Just love it. Okay, so the biggest lesson you will learn from the revision process is this. When you write a book, it must be transformational to you. And only in being transformational to you will it be transformational to others. You have to leave the intellect a little bit behind and bury yourself deep into the soul of the work. And I'm going to finish on a Robert Frost quote that's perfect for this. No tears in the writer, no tears in the reader. No surprise in the writer, no surprise in the reader. Thank you so much for listening to this audio. Again, the next audio stream will be about the publication process, from author platform to literary agent to traditional publishing and self-publishing. So please subscribe so you can be on the list to receive this. Remember, we offer a free introductory chat. So there's no reason not to contact us. Art of Storytelling online.com, info.artofstorytelling@gmail.com. Thank you so much. Have a great day.